Hello, Miss Amy.
Hello, sister.
Thank you for joining us for another episode on Anam podcast. Let's start. Let's close our eyes and be aware of our space. Breathing through our nose, relaxing and allowing. Feel the flow of love all around you. Allow it to float through you. It was flowing up through my throat and I needed to clear it. Allow that love to flow through you. And breathe the love. And let's have this beautiful conversation of whatever comes forward. Welcome. I love your colors.
Thank you. I got this in Ibiza in a hippie market, and it's just like
nice.
so like soft and woolly, and it was really struggle to fit in my suitcase, so I was just carried in my arm on the way home.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the weather outside is frightful.
Oh, the night is so alive. Speaking of Christmas.
It actually really is frightful. It's a mess out there today.
But I love, I
Yeah,
don't know, I just love when the weather is like this. It's
I do
like
too.
it look, what I'm about to say is whatever, but it gives you that permission to not do anything guilt free, you know? Because when we put so much guilt on ourselves for relaxing or resting, but that's just as needed as your productivity or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, the universe is like, have a bloody day to yourself there.
Yeah. I love Ireland because if it snows, the whole country shuts down. At least where it snowed. Like you
Mm.
don't go outside. There's nobody open. I love that part of it. I love around Christmas time where everything just shuts down. Like you can't go anywhere. So you might as well just chill
Mhm.
out. I love
Mhm.
that. It's like you said, instead of in a normal day, you would be expected to be productive and go and do things.
Mhm.
But this gives you permission to not have to. It's like in case you were looking for it.
Mhm.
Isn't
Yeah.
that funny? We have to have a permission to not, or we have to deserve something. Like,
Mhm.
where'd we get
I
off?
think I know it's like we see, but I think it comes back to um, your validation. Like you're only worthy if you work or you've
Yeah,
done
or
or
what you
whatever.
do. Yeah.
Mhm.
How much money do you make? Or
Yeah.
what's your job and how much sweat and tears did you put in it?
Did you go to college?
Yeah. Did you go to college? How many years have you been on the same job?
Mhm.
Those things are
Mhm.
considered good. But back to Connor, he really showed me that value in a being has nothing to do with your productivity or how much you earn or anything. Your value in this world, your real value in this world, is about the love that you give in this world. That's the
Mhm.
real love, or that's the real value.
Mhm. And it's also knowing if you go to college and it makes you happy, that's fine. But
Yeah.
just don't expect other people to do that because it
Yeah.
doesn't suit everybody.
Yeah. Or even if you did go to college and you didn't use that, it's okay too.
Mhm.
Or even if like
Absolutely.
there's all kinds of scenarios. It's all
Mhm.
perfect. Yeah, don't
Mhm.
judge. Be happy with that
Mhm.
decision.
I found myself though, so my birthday is coming up,
Hmm.
also Christmas as well. So festivity season.
Yes.
But I found myself being like, um, I just don't know how to celebrate it anymore.
Because you don't
I
drink.
don't. Because yeah, I don't drink, but it's also like I'm just it's coming back to see what makes me happy, you know?
Yeah.
And like I tend to because okay. So I wanted to run away. I just wanted to celebrate on my own. And I just wanted to be like, oh, I'm gonna book a log cabin somewhere and just be like, I'm gonna do what this makes me happy. I don't have to depend on anybody else. I don't need anything. It's just me. But then I realized that's me protecting myself because I'm expected to get hurt just because I've got hurt before. And then I was like, no, contradicting myself again, like, no, but that you want to do that, so that's fine. But it's that we're expected to celebrate with alcohol. It's
Yeah.
even when I passed my driving test, I was a year off the gargle, but I still, when I passed, I wanted to celebrate with a 0-0 Guinness. Like, talk about habit.
But you did it. It was great.
Yeah, but no, took us up and I went, "Nah, this is not what I wanted." But it was just that whole because this is what we're used to, this is how we celebrate, especially being
Yeah.
bloody Irish.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like and now I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what to do now." So I'm like, just coming
Well,
back to
tuning in and feeling good and figuring out
mhm,
what that looks like. See, I more than ever want to have a house that is big enough to have others be staying there with us. And because I see like Christmases or whatever with those that can come to just to have fun and to be laughing and to have
mm,
not to have alcohol or to have to drink or whatever, but just to come together for the joy of sharing moments with each other and not
mm,
and I can't wait for all that to happen because the space that Patty and I are in right now, I just see an amazing future for that, like to have friends from the States come over and stay with us and to have big dinner parties and no alcohol, um, or alcohol, but not, with
mm,
just to drink to get drunk. Because I have
mm,
to admit, I do like, and this is something I've done since I've been here again. I really love a glass of wine with my dinner. I don't know
mm,
why at the moment I'm in love with that. I love pairing the wine with the food, and I only have a glass because it tastes
mhm,
good. But I feel like the wine enhances the food somehow. And maybe that's a belief I'm in at the moment, and it's serving me because I'm enjoying it.
yep,
So I'm just gonna hold on to it until it doesn't serve me anymore. But so anyway, I see a very bright, fun future, but you have to honor, what you're feeling for yourself, and if that
mm,
feels like I just want to be on my own for my birthday or whatever,
mhm.
then that's what you should do.
Yeah, and it's removing the fear of what other think as well because
Yeah.
like what you want to count down the new year. My birthday's on New Year's Eve, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to count down the new year on your own, like that's so sad. But I'm like, for me, the new year isn't at the end of December. The new year for me is spring into summer, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, for
it's
reals.
yeah, so it's whatever like that's my new year, you know?
Yeah.
But because it suits you to do something, like just let it do that. You know, I'm not like if you want to go somewhere, you want to go to the pub for New Year's Eve, that feels right for you, you do that. But for
Yeah.
me, I'm
And
just gonna be in
it's honoring you honoring you and doing what you feel,
Mm,
regardless of what others are saying. So you brought up a point for me that I think is valuable to share. When we first broadcasted our first podcast episode, it felt to me this was a really good awareness for me to feel. And it didn't feel like this the whole time, just I had moments of it. Whereas I
mm,
just slit myself down the middle and just laid myself out to bear. Just vulnerable as hell. and it felt
Mm.
so uncomfortable. You sent me a picture of somebody with you and I on their television, and I went, holy shit, what did I do? Because I've been very private with a few things I've shared. But I have to say, unless and until you're vulnerable in this life, you don't really evolve. Protecting yourself and hiding yourself is just that, it's protection. And it's not owning who you are. It's not, and I'm not saying you have to put yourself out there on a podcast. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying
Mhm.
whatever it looks like for you to feel vulnerable. And I've always put myself, I've noticed that trend within myself that I'm always pushing myself through what's uncomfortable. And I hadn't done it for the 7.5 years that Connor was alive because I felt like I was busy keeping him alive, even though I had no, like I wasn't.
On your
Um,
damn business.
but after that, then I started pushing myself again. But it's really, you learn a lot about yourself when you are vulnerable to others,
Mhm.
and you learn a lot about others. And now I'm saying this, it really is interesting that those 7.5 years that I didn't put myself out there, but I guess I kind of did because I put myself out there in terms of Connor because I allowed others to help me. On Christmas Eve when he was having his open heart surgery and I was by myself, I allowed strangers to be with me, to support me because I didn't have my family. So it was a vulnerability in a different level, allowing strangers to help me, to assist me, to be with me, to love me when I was alone. So it was a different learning. So now that I'm seeing that differently, it's interesting. But yeah, I think that you're the only way to learn to evolve is to somehow put yourself in a vulnerable, not in an unsafe place, but
Mhm.
in a space that's not comfortable, and then ask yourself, why am I uncomfortable? What about this makes me uncomfortable? And decide, you know, whatever you're going to decide in that moment. But hopefully you decide that it no longer makes you uncomfortable. Hopefully you've grown into that space now and you're now comfortable in doing that. So
Mhm. And it's constantly not pushing yourself, but it's transforming that fear into love. It's like,
yeah, yeah,
I'm not because that's the limitation we have placed on ourselves is because it's scary, I'm not going to do that.
yeah,
But it scares me more of the fact of me staying the same than
yeah,
it is to try scary for a little while and then for something to just be unraveled, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. You gain so much by that. That's why when I was, yeah, I like travel because it always
Mm,
puts you in an uncomfortable position because
mhm,
this isn't normal. This isn't the routine. This is new.
mm,
Don't know what to expect. So there's a vulnerability in that. And that's why I like travel. It's because it's
mm,
always puts you in that space.
mhm. Speaking of travel, I mentioned that I stayed in a villa in Ibiza this year.
Hmm.
I I had an apartment to rent, but then that fell through, and then but I was in this space of like pure trust, like pure trust. Where I am now, but I lost that through the past few months, and it's funny because there was this incense that I lit in that villa that I was staying in, that
Hmm.
house that I was staying in, minding the cats and his plants and all this,
Funny.
and the spiders. But there was this particular scent incense that got gifted to me by a dear sister, and Paddy lit it in the bath on Saturday night, and
Hmm.
that triggered me to be like, it smells like that phase of my life that I was in in
Hmm.
March. And then I lit another one. It hasn't been lit since because I just loved the smell and I wanted to save them. And it was clearly saved for this moment because when I lit the incense to sit in a meditation, it was like everything worked out. You weren't you weren't homeless, you were always provided for. I didn't the apartment fell through. I didn't start panicking and was like, "Oh, I need to get a flight home." I was like, "If I'm meant to be here, I'm meant to be here."
Mm-hmm.
Then this opportunity came from a friend that gave me 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it was to find a new space to stay. And but that scent really triggered me, but it was like to bring me back to if it's meant to be, it will be, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm.
And it came at the perfect time because I was in that like, oh, as I said, with the lack going to Tenerife, it
Mm.
was like, but if you're meant to be there, if you're going to be there for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
You
Mm,
can use that little saying. I've been using that saying. So I take public transport in Dublin, right? And every time I'm supposed to get on the Lewis, the electric tram system, I'll always say to myself, if it's for me, it will be. If it's for me, it will be. So I don't rush. I don't hurry up. I don't try to run to a tram. If it's for me, it will be. And
mhm,
it's just trusting that. And it is. It's a trust in life that if it's for me, it will be. And
mhm.
and if it wasn't for me, it won't be.
Mm. I
But it
feel
always
though
is.
like that's that's our ego speaking when we're in a rush
Yeah.
because when we're rushing, we're trying to control the outcome. We're trying to
Mm.
control the time, the place, the situation. And but when you're in that space of it would be if it's for me,
Yep.
that's you being in line with your higher self, you know?
It's a
Because
flow, yeah. It's an
mm,
ease. Life is supposed to be easy. And
mm,
I'll go for walks and I'll repeat to myself, ease and flow, ease and flow. And I love feeling the ease in life. Life is supposed to be easy. And that's truth. Life is supposed to be easy. We make it hard because we interpret it to be hard.
mhm,
Life is supposed to be easy,
mm,
ease and flow. Speaking of easy, so I'm aware, so all of my adult life, I've liked to start my own little businesses and I've done a lot of little things along the way. And the last time when I was in Vegas, I was starting my speaking, trying to learn how to speak and all that. So I knew at that time that there was another way of building a business or building myself. And, but I didn't know what that was. So I asked somebody that was in one of my speaking things that he was helping people build businesses. And I asked him, how do you do it with energy? Like how, and the response was the same as everybody. You look for a niche, you look for a need, and then you feel the need and it's okay. There's another way of building a business. And I knew there was, but I had to
mm,
stop looking. I had to stop asking and just allow the answer to come to me. And the answer has come to me. And it's been misinterpreted because people know how to build a business other than the way it's been taught. And the way it's taught is you find some need in society and you fill the need with whatever you're able to offer. And then, you put yourself out there in various ways and all that. And I'm not saying that's not worked for people because it 100,000% has worked for people,
mm,
obviously. But I want people to realize that it's worked, but people are stressed. People are um like it's not easy. And they get a kick out of saying how hard they've worked The other way of building a business is to get yourself in alignment with this energy that is love, that is unconditional, that flows all the time through you. And getting in alignment with that means to be aware of yourself, be aware of your talk, your self-talk, your everything around you is reflecting back to you where you are inside. So that's a good
Mm,
way to see what needs to be cleared or fixed or altered still. But align with that energy, get to know yourself. And then from that unique position, because you're unique, what brings you joy? And when you
mm,
start doing what brings you joy, you are supported. Keep doing what brings you joy, what brings you joy, what brings you joy. And then it will change because what used to bring me joy still brings me joy, but so does something else. And then
mm,
something else and something else. And so you start realizing and learning about yourself. And that for me is how you build. I don't even call this a business, but I call it, I don't care if I make money. Let's just put this down. I don't care if I make money from what I'm doing because it brings me so much joy.
mm,
I love doing this. And I believe that I will be supported when I do what I love doing because this is my uniqueness on this planet. And now I know because I asked. And when you ask, the answer is always given, but you have to get off the asking and receive what's given.
mm,
Now I know how else to build a business. And there's nothing wrong with building it the other way, which is hard, makes you
mhm,
ill, stressed, and look at the divide between who's got money and who doesn't have money. I believe when you're in your flow, it makes it all a more equal playing ground. If more people were in their flow and love and not making it like it's got to be hard work,
mm,
will change how we're doing business and it won't be such a big divide between people and income. You
mhm.
supported all the way.
I think I love what you said there with allowing your payment to be your
How you
happiness,
feel. Yeah.
and at the end of the day, money is just an energy exchange.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
it's a it's as it's a piece of paper
Yeah.
as energy.
Yeah.
And so when your exchange is your happiness inside of you,
Mm,
seeing other people happy that are involved with you,
mm,
it's just as valuable as seeing that flow of money. The exchange, what I'm trying to say is it's two different types of exchanges,
yeah.
and both can bring you happiness.
Mm.
It's just I don't really know what I'm trying to
One
say.
is one is one is one is more ego driven, I guess. Hard work. Um, I'm gonna make this happen
Mm,
regardless because I want to, I'm gonna put in the hard work. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's the model that we're using right now. But there's another model that others are learning more than
mm,
we have understood this. Uh,
mhm,
that you find the flow first and you understand that your joy is your guide, your
mm,
happiness, your love for life, your I can already hear the critics. Well, how does that pay the rent?
mm,
I believe that when you aren't stressed about paying the rent is paid. When you're not
mm,
stressed about feeding, you're fed.
mhm,
And I know that to be true because all the times when I was my poorest is when I was stressed about it. Every time I stressed over money, money wasn't there. So it's not being stressed about money, knowing that it's just an energy and it just like, and the energy of love is your payment. and
Mhm.
financially it's given to you. You don't
Mhm.
have to figure out how. Follow your joy, and the how will figure it out.
Mhm. And I suppose it's you're expecting an award when you're seeking
Yeah.
your energy exchange to be money, you know?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
expecting, I need to be rewarded because I put in the work.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in that flow, you know, the reward is you being in flow, you know,
Yeah. That is
of
it. Yeah.
following through. Mm.
Everything on top of that is a bonus.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think once people start shifting how they build their businesses, instead of building it because there's a hole or a need, and I'm not saying that doesn't work, because it does, but look at society as it is. How is that serving? Like there's the divide is huge right now between the rich and the poor. It's huge. And that's because of this belief that it has to be a service that's provided, and then if it doesn't work out, then it's just too much head stuff. Like when you strip it back to love the energy I know I sound like a total hippie when I say love and peace and love, but that truly is, because what you're doing is you're aligning with the energy that creates worlds. That's what you're
Mm,
doing, is you're aligning with the energy that creates worlds. And when you know you're doing that for the joy of doing that, not because I want something to happen from it. What you want to happen is to be happy. That's what you're looking for in life anyway. So make
mhm,
being happy what you're looking for. And then the money comes. I believe
mm,
that 100,000 million billion percent. That's what
mhm,
happens. That's the other way of building a business.
mm. And I feel like your guides always tell you what you need to do next, you
Yeah.
know? It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
that calling, it's that idea of inspiration that comes through a thought, and
Yes.
it's when you can see yourself envisioning that, bringing that idea to life, you know?
Yeah.
It's like and trusting that. I didn't get that idea for nothing, you know what I
Well,
mean?
you were given that
Mm,
idea. Every time you have
mm,
an inspired thought, it wasn't you coming up with it. It was you in
mm,
alignment, and the thought come in, because
mm,
that energy field is where all of the high thinking is. That's where all the like that's you tuning in to the energy that creates worlds. Like
mm,
you can create, not you, but that's the creative energy you downloaded.
mm,
Everything you have anyway was given to you, even though you paid money for it.
mm,
When I heard that, I was like, yeah, that makes total sense, because every it's also why it doesn't serve me not to be in alignment. It brings me joy, which is what we're all looking for, and
mm,
it's where everything comes from anyway. So, what? Why not? Why? Why not purposefully tune into it? Why just
mhm.
happenstance it?
And when you want something, when you really desire something, you're not gonna make it happen, but
You
you're
can, yeah.
gonna yeah, you're
But it's
gonna
not you actually doing, like,
you don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
yes, exactly. It looks like it's you, but you've been
Mhm,
assisted the whole time.
mhm. You're finding a way to make it happen. It's like
Yeah,
even now coming up at Christmas, for example, people out there believe that they don't have enough money for the things that their kids are asking for from Santa. But
yeah.
yet they'll make sure that they'll come down the stairs that morning and that gift will be there, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
because they're so driven to see that child smile or whatever and
Mhm.
to avoid disappointment that they'll make it happen, even though at the start that they didn't think that it could happen. You know what I mean?
And if they buy the gifts in joy, if they buy the
Mm,
gifts knowing that the money's going to be there,
mm,
then the money will be there. But if they buy the gifts thinking, I'm not going to be able to pay my electricity bill if I do this, then you're not going to
Mm,
be able to pay your electricity bill. Like you're the
mm,
one deciding what this looks like.
mhm. And what feels right for you to believe? What
Yeah,
feels right
yeah,
for you to decide?
yeah. It's your choice. You can feel bad if you want. That's
Mhm,
for you to do.
mhm, yeah.
The choice.
And I just want to say, I am so proud of you for allowing yourself to be in that vulnerable space, to completely step out your comfort zone and just do what makes you happy. So, thank you for inspiring others and thank you for stepping into your power unapologetically.
Thank you. And thank you, Amy, for all those same reasons for being open to this exchange, to being in the flow that you are, to being the beautiful soul that you are, to allowing that to be your fourth,
Mm,
what you present. You're an amazing being, and I'm grateful that we exchange these energies, and
mm,
I appreciate you. Thank you.
mm. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.